Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's Startup Junkie. Now, um, I guess I want to share some really important information with you today. Now, as most of you already know, that there is a second stimulus package that is expected to pass and actually be signed, into law, where small businesses such as those classified with 500 employees or less, will actually get some much needed funding. As most of you know, many of you who gone to your banker, your credit union, went on the SBA website, found out that the money basically disappeared like that. Now, there's also some reports that at least 2/3 of the money that was intended for small businesses actually was somehow repatriated, if that's the correct word for me to use, into I'm not going to say multinational, but multi-location companies, big supply chain companies that provide whether food services or whatever. Many companies actually got that money where, say, the small mom and pop shop, down the road didn't get much of anything. Now, first and foremost, let me just say this. I'm AJ, your host of the Startup Junkie. You can catch the Startup Junkie between 11 a.m. and 11:30 p.m. 11:30 and 11:30 a.m. 11 and 11:30 a.m. Central on all of your social networks. We're streaming all over the place, right? Also, you can catch the Startup Junkie Live podcast on Spotify, iTunes, that's Apple, as well as TuneIn and iHeart Media. The whole purpose of this show is to help budding entrepreneurs and to help small business owners, kind of make way through all of the bullshit, all of the fluff that's out there, and to actually help you, grow and scale your business. All right. Help you increase those profits. That's the purpose of this show. And as most of you know, I try to keep you informed on the things that are coming in. And the second stimulus package, I think it's like phase 3.5, right? Phase 3.5 of the CARES Act should be signed today. As I mentioned, many of you did not get any of the money with the small business that you have, or for the small business that you have to keep your people employed. Now, when this thing passes, either today or tomorrow, definitely jump on the SBA website, contact your local banker, contact your credit union, whoever you do business with. You need to get on it because, again, like the first one, it was a first come, first serve basis. Now, I also want to correct some information that I share with you, only because the SBA actually corrected itself on its website that prior to that, you were able to, the first part of the third phase of the stimulus package, you were able to get up to $10,000. I did not clarify that there's $1,000 per employee, right? Now, that same thing is happening again. That's supposed to be in this bill as a grant, okay? So, go back to the same SBA.gov website, click on the coronavirus relief, bill or fund or whatever is up there, because I'm just saying whatever because they honestly might decide to change it, right? But here's the most disturbing part about all of this. And this has nothing to do with governmental funding or, whether you're right or left leaning. It has everything to do with business continuity and preparedness, right? Many of you I've actually shared with the things that I think that you should be investing in going forward in order to give your business some form or some semblance of a chance of actually surviving during this current environment. Now, as I pointed out to you, and some of you guys were really surprised that There are so many businesses out there that don't even have a website, and it's absolutely unbelievably ridiculous, right? So without you wasting a lot of money on shit that you don't need, such as all the people that are probably hitting you up right now with marketing services, telling you, hey, I can help you market your business and break through the clutter. I know there are not a lot of people out there doing business, but I can help you. Let me help you. Spend your last $5,000 or $10,000 with me, and I'll help you 10x that money. That's bullshit. I heard the CEO of Expedia say last year, I think they spent like either $5 or $10 billion on advertising. Do you get that? But this year, they're only going to spend about $1 billion, right? And although $1 billion is a huge number, but in the world of marketing and advertising, that is not a big number when you look at all of the multinational companies that are out there. So I am sharing with you today, or at the very least, resharing with you what I think that you should do to be prepared. In my last example, I shared with you how there was a local chemical company, and they know who they are. They run a lot of AM radio, but they don't even have a website. It's utterly ridiculous that we, and I'm saying we, are ill prepared to do business in the age of Amazon, in the age where everything is transient, everything is online, everything is about convenience, and everything is about giving control to the consumer. I've pointed out to several of you, who at one point was our client, ThinkGrids.com, ThinkGrids Media, right? Who was our client about why you should really level up on the game of connecting digitally. And I'm not just talking about posting something on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever social network you're on. I'm not talking about just posting something. I'm talking about really connecting in a way that makes your potential customer think of you before they think of a Carvana, right? Think of you before they think of an Amazon. Think of you before they think of AskADoctor.com. Think of you before they think of AskATherapist.com. Think of you before they think of Preve, which basically will send a glam squad out to any person's home and basically give them a shave, give them, manicure, pedicure, fix them up, do braids, any and everything that you can in terms of beauty. Many of you are ill prepared. So, in that spirit, and I love you as a small business, because I am a small business owner, I love you and I implore you to follow, if you have not, some of what I'm about to reshare with you on what I shared with you before about how you can prepare to do business now. Check it out. These are some of the things that you need to think about investing in going forward. There are so many businesses, first and foremost, it is unfreaking believable that do not have a website. Can you imagine that? Businesses that don't have a website? Case in point, there's a very small, there's a very small chemical supply company here in Houston, Texas. And I'm not going to say the name, but I've actually tried to reach out to them several times about, developing a website with a payment gateway, taking all their products and putting their products online. This is when we were actually doing that. Right now, we do digital asset management. We do course development. We can take anything that you're doing right now, your private school. We can take all of that stuff and put it in LMS, which is a learning management system. But just had to get a little plug on our company. But anyway, here's the point. When I was in that realm of selling that particular service, this person would not even call me back. And still to this day, they are not online. Now, think about, because they're not online, how many people are literally coming to their store? How many calls do you think they're taking on a daily basis of people ordering from them, and they literally have to be there to pick up the phone to actually take an order, right? When they don't even have to do that. Or what about all the missed calls from being on the phone with one customer requesting an order and missing another call from another customer who would actually give them or maybe even spend more money with them? There is a better way to do this, people. So the first thing that I recommend that every company out there, if you have not, Lord knows, I don't know why you would not have, you need to get a website. I've shared with you before how you can get a simple website built for a couple $100 or as little as $100 by going to Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Fiverr. Just Google Fiverr.com. Independent contractors, they're all over the world, and they can actually walk you through the steps on what you need to do to actually get a website up and running. So let's just say you got your website up, and you're this small mom and pop shop that has yet to come into the 21st century, that's yet to really engage in technology. Or let's just say you do have a website, which I've seen so many terrible websites with no payment gateways. And don't worry, I'm going to explain to you what that means in just a second, right? No payment gateways and no way to literally take orders online. Once you get a website, you need to get what is called bots, okay? Customer service bots. Frequently asked questions. You know, sometimes when you go to a website and, a pop-up will happen, do you have a question for us? There are certain questions that are prevalent to an industry, right? For example, if you were taking orders online to deliver some kind of like service, in-home service, like what do you call that? Like furnace cleaning or carpet cleaning. The question will pop up. Someone might type in, what time do you have available? There are ways through software such as Zendesk to actually take customer service requests and automate frequently asked questions. So we have a website, right? And we have ways on you as a business owner being able to service the customer without actually having to be there, right? And this is a whole lot different from actually picking up the phone and saying, hello, can I help you? Yes, no, yes, and missing another call that you could have probably made more money. So, website, right? I know this sounds silly. Most companies should have a website, and a way to service customers through bots, BOTS, right? Automated, okay? To automatically do that. Now, also, if you are a sales organization, a sales company, you need to really think about the cost of, or if you own like a company where you have super duper expensive office space, you really need to think about cutting that office space, the cost of that office space down going forward, right? Unless you have to be there, like say if you own a hair salon where people have to physically come in and sit down. But if you're in a service industry, right? A service industry where people really don't have to come to your office, but you're keeping the office because deep down, it sounds good to have an office. It's an ego thing to have an office. Then you really need to think about cutting that down. And I'm going to give you some context on how something like this can affect the bottom line. Okay. You all watch Love and Hip Hop, right? Right? Okay. There is Rashida and her husband, Kirk, right? And they have in the Galleria here in Houston, Texas, they have a store called Pressed, right? I remember one episode where Kirk was asking Rashida, why do you want a physical store when we're generating so much money just online? And honestly, she just wanted to do it. And I'm not saying, and I'm not attacking her, but she just wanted to do it. And now that particular store is not a success. It is not a success. They have huge overheads because anyone that knows rents in the Galleria is extremely high, and sales are not coming in, especially during this environment now. But guess what? I guarantee you their online stuff is still selling, right? And so I'm saying to you, if Kylie Jenner, okay, who primarily runs her billion-dollar company online, you might want to think about your approach having huge overhead and having offices. And trust me, I've been there. I've had multiple offices where my rent alone was almost $5,000 a month. Now, for you, that might not seem like a lot, but back in 2003, when 2003 all the way up to 2008, when the financial crisis actually hit, that was devastating. Okay, so I'm saying to you, think about how you can reduce the cost of your office space going forward. And here's the perfect solution for you. Get a virtual office where you have a live attendant, someone answering your phones, right? And where you're only paying a couple of $100 a month. And of course, I share with you virtual offices where you can get a professional business address. You can get all these different things for a couple of $100 a month. Of course, I told you about Regis. No, they're I'm not endorsing them. I'm just saying Regis is one. There's Alliance. There's Meridian. There's a bunch of different virtual office places that you can not only get offices for a day or two, say each month, but you can actually have someone actually answering your phones. And hey, you might have to cut your staff. And cutting your staff, and this is a real conversation, cutting your staff might include cutting the person that's answering your phones, right? So, that. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is video conferencing software. The other day, I had someone mention to me or ask me a question about Zoom, right? And they were looking at the cost of Zoom. And I told them, I said, well, you do realize that Zoom is actually free depending on what you're trying to do with it. And I dropped in a little image and I showed them how Zoom, where you can literally have up to 100 people in the room, but you're limited to the amount of time, 45 minutes, but that is free. And if you wanted to bump the plan up where you have unlimited time to stay in the room, right? That's only like $15-16, right? That is a whole hell of a lot better right now because honestly, we don't know when this environment is going to change. We don't know when we're actually going to come out of this. There's a whole different way of leveraging technology now that was not available, say, back as much in 2008. Well, it was available, but it was available at an expense that was very, very difficult for small business owners to actually pay. So now that technology, again, is democratized, right? Now you have access to the technology and you just have to leverage it. So if you need to have a one-on-one meeting, they have unlimited time with that on Zoom and it's free, right? But of course, you have WebEx, you have all these other, I think BlueJean is one. We have all these other video conferencing software. But as far as the quality goes, and this is probably why everyone is using Zoom, as far as HD quality, Zoom tends to be the best, okay? And so that's just my opinion. Do the research for yourself. But you need a way to keep engaging with the people that actually work for you, right? But not only that, there's a way for you to actually leverage that technology to take customer complaints. You know what I mean? There's a way for that, all right? There's a way. I'm not going to go into the details now, but I'm just saying video conferencing software on both on the customer side, right, as well as on the employee side, that's something that you definitely need to invest in, right? Here's the last thing. We're dealing with marketing. So we talked about the website. We talked about having a virtual customer service. We talked about a virtual office if you have to downsize the size of your office. We talked about video conferencing in order for you and your people to meet without physically being there. This is what they call the mobility of technology and the mobility of business, and the fact that workers now are transient. This shit has been around, okay? This has been around. So now we have all of that. You still have that person knocking on your door, right? Let me give the DJ horn. You have that person knocking on your door, right? And promising you, fame and fortune and growing your business exponentially by either one, marketing your services during this time, right? When you could do it for yourself. And how about this? Once you get it set up, it becomes automated. That's right. It becomes automated once you do it yourself. So I've recommended this to you before. I'm recommending this to you again. I employ everyone to Google. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you're a startup, you're in the midst of all of this craziness, I employ everyone to Google Facebook Blueprint. Now, I get what you're saying. I know there's a shitload of marketers out there right now hating me for this, right? But with Facebook Blueprint, all the stuff that these quote unquote experts and gurus promise you fame and fortune, caviar wishes and, champagne dreams and caviar wishes, all of the ish that they're promising you, you can learn for free, right? And you can learn it in bite-sized, digestible chunks because most of the lessons on Facebook.com/blueprint explains everything from setting up a business account as well as how to advertise not only on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook and Instagram, right? It explains it all. Bite-sized chunks, 15 minutes per lesson, some even less than that, right? Also share with you the automated email system to actually help you with your customer support that you can get for free via HubSpot, right? You also can use MailChimp for your marketing, which will help. And if you want email marketing automation, in other words, you want emails to automatically go out, you can pay as little as, say, $15, $16, $17 a month for active campaign. So, people, there is a way because the Startup Junkie is all about helping your business run lean. Lean meaning trimming off the fat. That's what it means. Trimming off the fat, right? There's a way for us to do business and not spend a lot of money doing it, right? So think about that. Now, I'm going to go back because I said I would talk about payment gateways, right? If you have a website and you have no way for people to actually order on your website, if you're doing, say, WordPress, if you're doing Wix, or you're doing something of that nature, and I'm talking about as far as websites, it is so easy, right, to get a plugin where you're going to start taking payments from either PayPal or Stripe or any other type of payment gateway system. All right, PayPal, Stripe, etc. So I'm imploring to you, if you don't have a website, definitely get one. Set up some automatic customer service, right? Automated customer service, that is, say, using Zendesk. You don't even have to know all this technology. You can Google this stuff and it'll tell you how to use it. And the cost is extremely low, right? You need some marketing. Do your Facebook advertising yourself. Once you set up the ads, you put them in there and you run them for a certain date, they'll run. You can target zip codes. You can even do a thing called geofencing with other software, which is inexpensive to target people within a certain radius or where they'll get a notification to their phone that you're open for business, like especially right now for pickup, right? Or for delivery. People, you don't have to spend a lot of money to run your business. Why? Because, again, technology is democratized, meaning everyone has access to it. It's just a matter of the strategy in which you use it. Now, a lot of people are saying there is a problem with with security online right now, and I agree, right? There is a product, since we're talking about business technologies, right? There's a product called NordVPN, or just look up VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, right? This is a way, like when you're online, for not everyone to know that, you're online. Like not everyone is on the same network that you're on, right? So think about VPNs, which you can pay as little as $10, $15 a month for like maybe 3 people. I know it's a lot, okay? But the reason why I document this show and why I do what I do is because I want you to be able to go back and, 1, rewatch the video, or 2, check out the podcast, the Startup Junkie Live, this specific episode or any of our episodes on any topics that we covered by simply searching the Startup Junkie Live on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. And so now that you know that, I think it's about time I get out of here. All right, so until tomorrow, everyone, I'm AJ, your host of the Startup Junkie. Be sure to check out the show tomorrow. Don't know what the topic is going to be, but I guarantee it's going to be relevant. See you later.